Hello and welcome back to day 3 of the 5-day Signature System Blueprint Challenge. We have had an incredible 2 days so far in this 5-day challenge, and we are moving on and starting on day 3. So today is where everything starts to click. You've done all of the hard work building your systems and your business structure, and now we're going to make sure that signature system actually sells, because today is all about identifying who your signature system is for and how to talk to them before they say yes. So, how to lead them through that client journey step by step to saying yes to working with you in your signature system. But before we do that, I want to take a look over here in our community, the Founders Lab, and make sure you know where everything is as you're moving forward in the challenge. Let me come back on screen. If I'm looking over here to the right, that's because I'm looking at the screen that is on the display here. This is the Founders Lab, and this is my free membership community that helps you to be able to monetize your expertise and how to be able to scale your business using tech, AI, and automation. I am on a high level platform, and Go Collab is the app that Go High Level uses to be able to put the community on an app. So you can use it, pick up your device, download it from your app store, Go Collab. It's GOKOLLAB. And you can download the app and then be able to access the community and all of the coaching and training and resources right from your mobile device as well. Obviously, you can access it as well through your laptop or through your computer. So when you're in here, I added a new channel specifically for the Signature System Blueprint Challenge. So you can look at these channels. These are basically the way we organize content inside the community. I did go ahead and put the homework threads here for you. There's a dedicated thread here for you for your homework feedback, for you to post your homework. This is where you can just click right here under the discussion tab, click right here, the Signature System Blueprint Challenge, and it will bring up the homework threads for you. So you can post your homework here, you can ask questions, and you can ask for feedback on anything that you're working on inside the challenge, and also be able to provide feedback to your peers inside of the challenge. This is a community and it's supporting like, so we are all here on this beautiful journey together of monetizing your expertise and helping you to get some systems around your business and build that engine, that revenue growth engine for you that's going to help you to be able to move clients from cold to close to on and on with the delivery and the referrals and so forth in your business. That is where you will find those. You can just go home and here and you will be able to see all of the various content that we have inside of the community under the discussions tab. So this is where you're going to find all of the members in here talking. If you haven't already introduced yourself, I encourage you to go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us more about you. Tell us more about your signature system idea. Or if you already have a signature system in place, tell us that signature system is, who it's for, and what problem that you help people to solve. Now, if you navigate over, if you notice across the top toolbar here, we have the discussion tab, we have the learning tab, events, leaderboard, members, and the about tab. If you navigate over to the learning tab and open that up, that's where you're going to see all of the courses and programs and tools and resources that I have inside the Founders Lab here for you. Your view is different because I am in, we'll see the signature system. I've organized it to where it is first in your menu here of products and services that you can choose from to help you to be able to build, grow, and scale your business. So the signature system is our 5-day challenge that we're currently in right now. And all of the training and resources you will find right inside of the course. There's a couple of training videos inside the Start Here module for you to be able to go through. And then as you see, if you go day 1 and day 2, we've already completed. So those lessons and those resources are right in the course itself, inside the portal. When you navigate in there, the course will open up. This is the video. I host the videos on YouTube. So that's why you see the little YouTube icon, but you will press that and the course will start to play for you. And then if you read in the about the lesson content section here and arrow down, it basically tells you what we're covering inside that lesson for the day. what you're going to build, what the result is going to be, as well as your resources are in this particular section. So this is where you're going to find the daily slides that you can download in a PDF version for you that you can download every single day. And then there is the coordinating workbook for the particular lesson for that day. So if you take a look today, the resources that you will have downloaded in day 3. This is going to be the downloadable slides. So every day I give a copy of the slides in a PDF version. So you don't necessarily need to print them if you don't, but you can go through the slides as you're working through your homework and you can read more about it and help you to understand what you're working on and what it is the homework assignment is for the day. So you can go through that, watch the video, and then you have the slides to support you. Or you can print the slides out and you can take notes directly right on the slides as you're moving through the lesson, whatever works best for you. But you can have those open for you as you're working through the daily assignment. So if you navigate all the way through that, you will see the homework lesson. This one is a big one, but it basically gives you what you are completing for each day of the assignment and what the homework assignment is for you to be able to post over in the group and get feedback on that. You have the slides as well. That was the slides that we were just looking at. And here is the workbook that accompanies that lesson. So you just go through the workbook. I've given you some more knowledge information in here for you to be able to read on it. And then it walks you through what each exercise is in the particular lesson. The order of events here is that you will consume the lesson and then you'll pull open the workbook when you're done with it, or you can work along however you like to do it. I like to consume the content, and then once I understand what the concept is, and then I go back and do the homework. To have everything out in front of you and work through it so you're only consuming once and you're doing the homework right then and there. And if anything is unclear or you have a question about anything, that's where you're going to go back into the Founders Lab and post those questions in the community for us so we can get you some feedback. Navigating back, you go back into the community. We're in the course right now. So you just hit the little back button here and go back into the community with any questions that you have, or once you finished your homework for the day, then you post it over in the discussion tab. And the discussion tab is right here. And you can click on here, and today after this training, I will put up the day 3 homework thread. So you'll have worked through day 1 and then day 2 and then day 3. Remember that everything builds upon itself. So you don't want to just skip in and try to do day 3 if you haven't done day 1. Day 1, you figure out what your signature system is. It's where we extract all of that knowledge and expertise out of your head and help you to understand what that is and what it is that you're going to be turning into products and services to be able to help your clients get the results that your signature system helps them to get. So any questions about any of this that we've gone through so far, feel free, make a note, bring it to the community, and we'll get you support. Any announcements about the events, things like that, you can click the announcements tab and it's going to have that there, as well as the events. So you can go to the event section here and you can see the various events that we have scheduled for this particular week. And what you're seeing, I deleted this one because we had some technical difficulties that day. The training you will just find in the course itself, and every day the lessons that we're going through are uploaded into the course portal. But this is if you want to watch it live. I have recorded all the lessons and they are streaming live each and every single day, where you can click right here and you can register for the event. And it gives you the clickable link that you can click on to open up in another browser so you can watch the video live as well. So a couple of ways to be able to access the materials, but again, they are all in the course portal itself under the Learning tab. And then you can see the leaderboard here as you start to really engage inside the community. The leaderboard will start to fill up with all of the various members. You can see who's leading right now with Anicia and Wayne. They've joined in the challenge and they're starting to have conversations. And as we move forward and identify different products and services that would be a benefit and helpful to you, and we'll recreate those resources and we'll create some prizes. So as you move up levels up in the community on who's scoring, it will unlock some additional products and services for you. So that makes it a lot of fun. All right. So that is a little bit more of the walk behind of the community and how to access the community and how to access the Learning tab, as well as if you go to Go Collab, which is the app I was mentioning, this is what your view will look like. So when you go to download the Go Collab app from your app store, this is basically what it looks like when you open it up. You can either do a search for the community, and here you would be searching for the Founders Lab. Once you have it, you can pin it. So it's available for you right here in your side toolbar. So you would just click on the Founders Lab, and then that's what your view is going to look like when that does populate of what the community looks like for you. And then you can go to the learning tab. And this is why I was saying yours looks a little different, because I was in my view through my business, right? And this is your client view. Okay. Any questions about that? And again, you can see all of the other services that I have here. Some are placeholders, so there may not be content in there yet because it is coming. So just this is a new community. We're just getting it launched, and there's a lot more to come here. But these are the things that we have already established for you, different workshops, times, and so forth you'll find here, and live Q&As. And this here, the Ultimate Course Creation Starter Kit, this is fully built out for you. So you can take advantage of that, as well as my workshop here, 1 hour to course clarity. It is a free benefit of being inside of this community, a full workshop on helping you to map out your signature system and how to pre-launch that and be able to sell it before you even create a single lesson. So there is that course there too, available for you. I wanted to give you a little bit more of behind the scenes of what that looks like for you. So any questions that you have about that, let me know. Drop them in the comments below this video or drop them over in the Founders Lab. If you're catching this video on YouTube and you haven't joined the Founders Lab and would like to join us on this 5-day journey, this challenge that we're taking together for the Signature System Blueprint, or you want to join us in the Founders Lab to be able to take advantage of all these incredible resources that are available for you at no cost, join us over in the Founders Lab. And that's where on YouTube, you get the content where we are airing and streaming all of the daily challenge videos to you here. But if you want to take advantage of all of the resources and be part of this incredible community, then I encourage you to click the link below this video and join us in the Founders Lab. And that's where you can get access to all of these available resources for you for free 24/7. So take advantage of that. All right. Any other questions before we dive into today's training? Go ahead and drop this below if you have any other questions, and we will get going here. Okay, so let's dive into today's lesson. Welcome to day 3. Today is where everything starts to click for you. You've done all of the hard work so far of building your system and building your business structure, that revenue engine that helps you to be able to move leads from cold to close to working with you inside your signature system and helping them to get incredible results through the problem that you solve for them and helping them to be able to get to from moving from that A to B, where they're at before working with you and where they're at after working with you and getting the transformation that you help them to be able to achieve. So now we're going to make sure that it actually sells, because today is about who this is for. So who your ideal client is, the perfect person for the problem, the signature system that you have developed to solve the problem that they have, and then how to talk to them so they say yes. So this is what we refer to as the messaging. So we have the ideal client, again, who it's for, and the messaging. So how we talk to them, how we unlock the words that make your system sell. Today, we're answering one of the most important questions in your business. Who is this for? Because everything here changes. The clarity here changes everything. When this is vague, when your messaging is vague, your content doesn't land, your offer doesn't convert, and your audience does not respond. But when this is clear, everything gets easier, because your ideal client can recognize themselves, recognize what your offer is, and that it's for them and it's something that they desire. So let's ground ourselves in what you've already built. During day 1, you created your signature system. So this is the methodology that we extracted from your brain, and we got it out onto paper, and we have a clear understanding of the signature system, your proprietary information that you are helping people to get a particular result with. In day 2, you mapped your business architecture. So we went through what it looks like for the customer journey, what steps your client actually takes before working with you, all the way through after working with you. We went through every single step of that journey. So you know what that business architecture is that you need to have in your business to seamlessly attract, nurture, and convert your clients. So day 3, now that we have the signature system, now that we have the way mapped out to be able to attract, nurture, and convert leads, now we need to know who are those leads, who are those people that we are attracting for your signature system, who are your perfect soulmate clients. So today is where that system gets a voice. This is where your business becomes magnetic. The core problem here is that most people don't realize that you can have the best system in the world, but if you can't clearly communicate it, it won't sell. And this is why so many incredible experts stay stuck, not because they're not good, not because they don't have an incredible signature system to be able to help people with. It's because their messaging doesn't land. So today we're going to fix that. We're done with the days that your great work gets unnoticed because it is valuable. And we need to fix the problem where that messaging isn't landing. And that's what we're here to do today. So there are 2 big messaging mistakes that I see over and over again. Number 1 is trying to help everyone. And this looks like it would say, I help entrepreneurs succeed. What does that even mean? Right? If you try to think about that and envision yourself, if I said to you, hey, Sarah, I can help you succeed. You're an entrepreneur and I can help you succeed. Succeed at what? What can you help me succeed at? I don't even that is. Is it something in my business? Is it something in my marriage? Is it something like being successful as a parent? And when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. Broad messaging feels safe to you because you feel like you don't want to niche down too much because you feel like you're going to corner yourself and maybe not have enough people to get in front of to be able to help. But it actually costs you clients. When you're speaking to everyone, you speak to no one. Mistake number 2 is overcomplicating it, using jargon and over explaining. So no one understands what you do. This jargon, the buzzwords, the complex explanation sometimes can feel safer because you feel like you're really smart talking about it, but it actually creates confusion and confused people don't buy. So here today, we are here to simplify everything. And I always chuckle to myself because the one thing I remember in my days of corporate, I was in corporate marketing and sales for 23 years, training and development as a regional support leader before I started my business in 2019. And we used to have what we called acronyms. So everything had an acronym. And speaking to people, to clients, when we're like, oh, I have to reference the BOM, we're like, the BOM was our branch operations manual. So you got to be careful with this because we can sometimes speak in a language that isn't. If you even speak to a doctor sometimes, can you put it in the everyday person language? Because I have no idea what you just said, because they have their own language. So we need to stop overcomplicating it, stop using jargon words and buzzwords and these complex explanations that create confusion because confused people don't buy. So today we're going to simplify that. So the goal for today, by the end of this training, you will have one clear sentence that builds trust, it opens doors, and it converts your ideal client. So we're going to identify what your signature messaging is, and we're going to be breaking it into a sentence that identifies who you help, the specific person that needs the solution that you have to offer, needs your signature system. Go from what problem. So what is the problem that you are solving through your signature system? Your signature system is the bridge that bridges the gap between the problem to the result. For instance, if you are helping moms that just have a baby go from being overweight and feeling like they are just too tired, they have low energy, whatever that problem is, we'll dive more into that in a minute, but it could be from being overweight and feeling tired and not having energy to being able to lose, say, if you want to help them lose 25 pounds in 90 days through your weight loss system, whatever that name is that you give that. So that helps you to identify when we're talking about the specific person, but the specific person that you're identifying in here is new moms. So if you have just had a baby or your ideal client has just had a baby recently, they know exactly that they're that person. They're the person that all of your content, your signature system, everything is talking to that person, to the problems that they have in their everyday life. Maybe because they're taking care of a newborn baby, they don't have time to exercise. And maybe some of the problems dive into having to eat a certain way because they're nursing their child. So they find it difficult to be able to prioritize themselves, to being able to get this result that they want. They want to be able to fit in their skinny jeans again, the jeans that they wore before they had the baby. And it would be through your signature system. So you want it to be simple, specific, and powerful. So this messaging becomes very clear. And that's what we're building today, is having that clear messaging, this clear signature message formula for your signature system, who you help, the problem your signature system solves, the result they get by working with you through your system. So let's talk about why clarity works. Clarity is not just marketing. It is your business advantage, because when you are clear, you show up with confidence. And because you show up with confidence, you know exactly who you're serving and what you're helping people to be able to achieve through your offer, then you build trust. Your audience feels understood, like you're speaking directly to them and that you get them, like that fly on the wall, like you're in my head. How do you know my thoughts kind of feeling? Like they feel like their best friend because you actually get them. You care. You've been there. You've gone through this experience, or you've helped someone go through this experience and get to the other side and get this transformation that you're helping them be able to achieve. And this increases your conversions. Clear messaging turns followers into clients and readers into buyers. People don't buy the best offer, they buy the clearest one, the one that they can clearly understand what it is, who it's for, what the problem it's solving, what the result is, and that they can see themselves in it and being able to get the result. So that's what we're here today to really map out for you. Most people get this completely wrong. They identify or define their ideal client by demographics. And you used to see years ago, like I can remember when I first started my coaching business, I have notebooks full of ideal client profiles and avatar worksheets of really identifying the demographics of these clients. Like, who are they? Who are they? What are their ages? What was their gender? Were they male or female? What was their income bracket? What was their job title? And I remember thinking, like, how do you know what their job title is? Like, you don't even know these people yet. How do you know what their job title is going to be unless you're specifically targeting people that are in corporate, that type of thing? You're not going to know their job title. So that just stumped me for the longest time. And tell me, give me a one in the comments below if this was you and you have gone through this painful experience of trying to identify your ideal client. And as we work through in the signature course launch system, my signature program that I'll be launching here soon, that we go through this in detail, and we also leverage AI tools to help us to be able to map out this ideal client who's the perfect fit for you. So it can make it easier. But the problem with all of this is that for marketing in terms of paid advertising, because paid advertising can really help you to narrow in on those particular age brackets and gender and income brackets and so forth. But that's not what we're doing in organic marketing. So two people can look identical on paper, but want completely different things, right? You can have a group of people that are all ages between 25 and 50, and they're all female, and they earn anywhere from $50 to $100,000 a year. And maybe they're all in one particular, they're not self-employed, they're employed. So they can look the same on paper, but they want completely different things. So that's why demographics fall short, because they can look identical in terms of the age, gender, income brackets, et cetera, but they can have completely different desires, different problems, and readiness to invest. So demographics tell you who someone is, but to write messaging that converts, you need to know what they feel, because we buy based on emotion. We buy because we're trying to solve a problem, or we buy because we want an experience, or we want a tangible item. So Demographics, again, describe these things. And again, they're helpful for paid marketing, such as meta ads and so forth, but they are not helpful when you are trying to write copy that converts. This is where we really need to dive into psychology, because this is what really helps people to connect emotionally and make these decisions. Your ideal client is defined by three things. They want the result you provide, and they're ready to invest. They have the problem. So they're defined by three things. They have the problem that you solve. So they're living that challenge that your system directly addresses, and they know it's a problem, right? Because if you're trying to market even too early, and we get into this in the signature course launch system and much deeper and much more depth of really speaking to a problem that may be a problem that the client doesn't even realize they have. So when we're talking to that pain point of the messaging, we're not even attracting them because they don't even realize it's a problem yet. So we will go through that and keep it more of that high level of they're living that challenge. And for the example of the mom that is wanting to lose that 25 pounds of baby weight, she's living that experience of being overweight, of being tired, of having no energy, feeling like she's not attractive right now because she's carrying this extra weight from birthing this child, feeling like she has no energy to exercise because she has stayed up all night long taking care of this baby. You know, she needs to do something about it. So that's the kind of person that we're trying to attract here, that has a problem to solve and that wants the result that you provide. So this is where the outcome that you deliver is something they actively desire, not just nice to have. So we always talk about that burning pain point, that burning problem that perhaps is keeping your ideal client up at night, that if they could just solve this, maybe for that mama, she might have been invited to a birthday party this coming weekend, and she's stressing about it because she goes to her closet and she pulls out her clothes and none of her pre-pregnancy clothes fit. So she's like that one stuck with the problem. She doesn't have the time to go out shopping to buy something else. She's feeling embarrassed because she doesn't want to wear the maternity clothes to the party. So yeah, that's where your marketing and your messaging is really going to be able to dive into that, because you know your ideal client. You were either that client yourself before, or you've helped someone through that same struggle in terms of your signature system. But they know that this is them, and they can clearly see that, gosh, how much different would everything be if I just lost that weight? If I just had someone to hold my hand, to walk me through, tell me exactly what to do. I'll do it because I'm a dedicated person and I'm consistent and I follow through. When I set my mind to a challenge, I follow through and I do what's necessary and I'm ready to say yes. That's who you want to be able to attract with your marketing. And that's why all of this matters. Because if I was just talking about the demographics and saying something like, oh, you're probably about 25, 35 years old, and maybe you're married. So there's 5 layers to your ideal client. So this is where we go deeper. And I just did a little bit of an example on the previous slide with you. But it's important to understand all 5 levels here, because then when you do, all of your messaging becomes seamless. It becomes effortless for you. So we've got layer 1 where they're stuck in their current situation and then they have this desired outcome. So when we understand all 5 layers that your ideal client has, it really helps you to write messaging that truly converts. You need to go deeper than the surface. We are deep emotional people, right? And you want to be able to connect with that and not just have these surface level conversations, your marketing and your messaging that don't resonate with your client. Because if it doesn't stop the scroll, all of the time that you've put into creating content is just going to be a waste of time because it's not doing its job. So you really want to stop here and make sure that you understand this particular slide here of what I'm going to go through. And if you don't, then you bring questions to the Founders Lab so we can help get you sorted and help get you to understand. Sometimes when you're too close to it, like I was back in the day of looking at all of the statistics and demographics of my ideal client, I wasn't really sure how to talk about the problems that they have in the way the client would talk about it. So layer one is their current situation, like that new mama. Where are they stuck right now? Not 5 years ago, but right now. Where is she stuck? So if you use that example and thinking about that mom, and most people can visualize that, even if you haven't had a baby, but you probably have a friend or a sister or a brother, significant other that has some family member or friend that you've been close to that has been part of that scenario. And if you don't, just go with me. So that layer one is where they're stuck. So she's stuck. She's feeling overwhelmed. She's tired. She has no energy. She can't fit into all of her clothes. She doesn't want to wear pre pregnancy clothes anymore, but she doesn't have any time to be able to get to the gym. And who has the energy to cook healthy food, right? That's what she's experiencing on her day to day, as an example. Layer two, the desired outcome. She knows summer is coming, right? She knows that it's going to be swimsuit season and she wants to be able to enjoy these experiences with her family. And she wants to feel sexy in her skinny jeans again with her husband. She wants all of these things. She wants to lose this weight. She just wants it to melt off of her. They just want a fix it pill, and those are available too. But there's a lot of people that wouldn't want that as an option. And we would talk about those things too in our marketing of you don't want to take diet pills, right? You want to do this naturally because you are nursing a child, for that example, and you don't want to pass on any drugs to your child. So, layer three are the obstacles of what is stopping them. What's stopping them from losing that weight? What's stopping them from being able to get the support and the resources that they need to be able to lose the weight? Is it, again, they just don't have time because they are taking all of their time and energy to care for the new baby, as well as their family and the house and their husband and all of the things. So, really understanding in your messaging and your marketing what is stopping them from being able to get the desired outcome that they want to be able to achieve, AKA, she wants to lose the weight. She wants to feel sexy again in her skinny jeans. She wants to have that energy again to where she has the energy to be able to play with her kids and just feel like herself again, right? As she did, and how energetic and wonderful she felt before the pregnancy. Layer four is the motivation. So why do they want this? And I've talked to you again about the forecasting. Oh, she knows that summer is coming and she knows it's going to be swimsuit season and she wants to look good and rock that bikini. So what is the motivation? She wants to feel sexy again in her relationship with her husband so they can have that intimate experience without her feeling like she needs to hide under the blankets when she's with her husband. So those are the motivations that are motivating her to want to do this, to want to get the outcome. And that's what we really want to make sure that we understand and can talk to. And then layer five are the decision triggers. So, what makes them say yes? What would make them say yes to investing in themselves and yes to taking the time to go through your program, through your signature system to be able to do the work? How can they see themselves and being able to get that result? So, we need to understand what those decision triggers are. And that's what we're going to be going through in this training. So, layer one is their current situation. You need to understand where they are stuck right now. So, where are they in their journey with you? Before your client can feel hope, they need to feel seen, they need to feel understood. Their current situation is the entry point. It is what stops the scroll and makes someone say, yes, that's me, to self identify. I completely relate with that. That's exactly what I'm going through right now. So you want to be able to describe their reality with precision. The more specific you are, the stronger the connection, because that's what we all want at the end of the day. We all want to be seen and understood and know that you are in their corner, you're there for them and you get them. You're their new best friend because you have been there too, or you know someone that has been there and you've been able to help with them. You relate to them, you care. The current situation, so real examples here about language, but the current situation language sounds like this when it actually works. So, for instance, maybe they have been working too many hours. That's the situation. So, how you would actually say that is you're up too late. You're up early and you're up late and you're still feeling behind. The hours multiply, but the income doesn't. So, in terms of an ideal client for me, a person that is an entrepreneur that is serving one-on-one clients, that their schedules are maxed, there's not enough hours in the day. You get up early, you stay up late, and you're still feeling behind. The hours multiply, but the income, you're stuck in this one-on-one work. You're trading time for money with no ceiling and no freedom. Every dollar requires another hour. It's completely dependent on you and completely dependent on the time that you are working. The minute you stop working or you try to take some time off because you're serving one-on-one clients, then the income stops. So you have this trading time for money. There is no freedom because it's like you're working a 9 to 5 without a vacation package, and everything feels manual. There's no systems, there's no automation. It's just you every single day with your endless task list. Every single time, everything you're doing by hand. So when clients read these statements that you're using in your example for your signature system, they're going to read this and think, how did you know that? How do you know I'm staying up late and getting up early and it still doesn't matter and I still feel really behind? And you know that because you know your ideal client. And when they hear this, they're going to really think that is me. This is how they self identify through your content, through your messaging. Where this is me, I am trading time for money with no ceiling, no freedom. Every dollar requires another hour from me. And yeah, I have no systems. It's all in my head. You're doing everything manually, everything the hard way. You know that there's other systems and solutions that exist, but you don't have the time to be able to go do the research to figure out the systems. You just wish somebody would help you with it. Layer two is a desired outcome. So, what do they actually want? Not the logical answer, the emotional one. So, not the professional, the real answer, the one that they would think at 11 o'clock at night when they can't sleep. These desired outcomes live at the intersection of what they want to have, what they want to feel, and who they want to become. Thinking about that mama, they want to have that sexy body again. They want to feel strong. They want to feel healthy. They want to feel vibrant and energized. And they want to be that super mom, right? That has the clean, polished house and looks beautiful and has the energy and can travel the world. They do all of these things because that's who they want to become. So thinking about that desired outcome and really speaking to what they want to have, what they want to feel, and who they want to become is super important in your messaging. The desired outcome, so things like having more freedom, how does that actually sound? These aren't features, they aren't deliverables, they're emotional end states that your clients are chasing. So they want more freedom. How does that sound in your marketing? How can you give an analogy of that? So they don't want just more freedom. Freedom of what? Like you want to break it down, you want to get tangible, control over their time. They want to make their own schedule. They want a business they can work around, control over your time, your location. You want that work from anywhere lifestyle, that laptop lifestyle. You want to be able to make your own decisions and have a business built around your life, not the other way around. You want predictable income. You want to know that what's coming in each month, you want to have predictable income, no more feast or famine cycles of and this roller coaster of income and having that income anxiety because your container with your one-on-one client is about to run out and how are you going to pay the bills next month? Like you don't want to have to worry about this feast or famine cycle anymore. You want a system that works without them. What that really means is you want revenue and results flowing even when you step away from your business, because this is true leverage in your business when you have these systems that we talked about yesterday in day two's training of having this operating engine set up in your business that helps to attract, nurture, convert leads on autopilot and obviously deliver the results. So deliver your onboarding for your client automatically. So you're not having to do that from scratch every single time you onboard a new client. Layer three is the obstacles. So what is stopping them? Because every obstacle is something that your system solves. Think about that. So every obstacle is something your system solves. So the more you know about your ideal client, and we talked about iterating your program and your signature system, that you will continue to refine it over time. That's what you will do as you continue to understand your client's obstacles. It lets you position your system as the direct solution. Because every obstacle is a bridge that you can build. Remember, your signature system is the bridge that bridges the gap that helps to give them the transformation of moving from where they were in their problem going through your signature system, going through this bridge, the stepping stones to getting the result. So every struggle you name makes your offer feel more tailor made just for them. Obstacles are the gap between where they are, point A, and where they want to go, which we call point B, and you're the one who closes it. So let's look at some examples of this. For entrepreneur that is working with one-on-one clients, they have no systems. What that means, these obstacles, they are the specific friction points that keeps your ideal client from getting their desired outcome on their own. So how come they don't have a business that runs on autopilot? How come they don't have consistent income, that they're not worrying about the yo-yo income spikes up and down because they're worried about where their next client is coming from? It's because they have no systems. What that really correlates to is every process lives inside their head and gets reinvented every single time. They can't delegate, they can't automate. It's exhausting and it's unscalable, and everything is reliant on them because they can't just walk away and go on vacation or to take off a long weekend, because if they stop, so does everything else, because nothing is implementable, nothing is delegatable. Everything is in their head. They know what they need to do. They just haven't documented it or structured it in a way that others can follow. They know you need systems in your business, but you just haven't had the time to be able to stop to get the support or understand who can give you that support and what tools and systems you need to have in place. They don't know where to start. So they're overwhelmed by the options and they're paralyzed by the choice. Your clear path forward is exactly what they need. So you want to be the person who shows up right at their door with a beautiful present. Here, just take the gift, right? I've got it all done. It's all worked out. I have it all for you. All you just need to do is show up, right? That's what they're looking for. That's you become the magic bullet. So now we're going to talk about motivation. So why do they actually want this? This is deeper than the outcome. So motivations are the fuel behind the desire. They're deeper than the outcome. They're the emotional why that gets your client to take action. You want to speak to these motivations. You want to get at the heart of the matter, because if you do, you're going to hit on something that truly resonates. So, looking at some real examples of motivations, again, they live below the surface of every stated goal. There's a reason this mama wants to lose 25 pounds, right? There's a reason maybe somebody wants to run a triathlon or run a marathon. There's reasons, emotional reasons of why somebody wants to be a person that runs a marathon runner, or the mama that wants to have lost this weight because she wants to feel a certain way and look a certain way. So, for instance, for the example of the entrepreneur that is working with one-on-one clients, they want more time for their family, for their hobbies, for their business, for their rest. They want to reclaim the hours that their business currently devours, because it's like you're all work and no play, right? You want to have more balance and more time in your life. You want less stress. So the way we would talk about that in the language is having a calmer, more sustainable way of working without the constant pressure and overwhelm, because you have systems and structures in place that automatically do all of the lead nurture, the attraction, nurturing, and converting for you. These systems are in place that automatically do all of this and move your leads through these systems that automatically deliver the content, that automatically nurture the clients, that automatically present the sale as a next logical solution, next step in the customer journey. They want to make more impact. They want to be able to help more people at a greater scale, leaving a mark in the world that goes beyond the one-on-one work. They can see, many of my clients can see themselves standing up on stages and giving presentations and doing TED Talks and things like that, to be able to leave that legacy, to leave that mark on the world beyond working with one-on-one clients. They want to be able to help more people at scale. So layer 5 is where we get into decision triggers. So what makes them finally say yes? These decision triggers are the tipping points, the specific signals that push someone from being in the camp of I'm interested to being in the camp of I'm in, hell yes, take my credit card. Understanding these are let you design your offer and your messaging to consistently create that moment. So everything that you're leading up to, it's like it's already a done deal. I had sales calls to be able to enroll the client, and there wasn't even a sales call because the minute I got on the call with a client, she was just like, "Here, I'm so excited. Here's my credit card. When do we get started?" Like, it was the most mind-blowing experience to me ever because I had prepped for the sales call, all the things, and there wasn't even a call because my marketing did the job it was supposed to. So let's look at some examples of these decision triggers. So your client is looking for those green lights before they can commit. So we want to build that in, bake it in to our marketing and our messaging to give them these four examples or these four green lights that you've built into your conversion machine. So as you've gone through, it's in all of your email sequences, it's in all of your social media content. If you're blogging, it's all built in, it's all baked in. So what we use here is we use proof. So proof, if you think about if you are wanting to purchase something, say on Amazon, you have a need for a particular product and you go to that product and you look at your buyer's journey with that. How do you identify when there's 50 or hundreds of the same type of, say I wanted to buy dog food, right? Say I have a dog, my dog has allergies, and my vet told me that I need to change over the food because she's suffering with these allergies. She's scratching all the time, her paws are raw. Her paws are raw. We've done all of these things trying to help, and it's not helping. So the vet said that we need to change her food because a lot of dogs have allergies to chicken, and that our dog food has chicken in it. So I go to Amazon and I look. You go to Amazon and you pull up the app and you look, and there's all this dog food options. So how do you start to understand which one is the one that is for you? So maybe you click on and see what the ratings are, and then you drill down and you look at what the reviews are. What are the 4 and 5 star reviews saying? What are the 1 and 2 reviews saying? So you look for results. So this is what we want to bake into our content. And as we're moving our customers through the client journey, these results, these testimonials, these case studies, evidence that it actually works for people like them. So when I'm looking at the dog food, I'm going to look to see all of the happy testimonials from people that say, this is the best food ever. And my dog no longer suffers from allergies. She is just so much more comfortable, basically healthier, happier, not stressing and scratching all the time. And you're feeling better because your dog's not scratching all the time and you're not worrying about it anymore. So that proof, you really want to have that built in. And even if you don't have testimonials or case studies from clients that you've worked with yet, that's okay because you are your best testimonial. So here's where you can use examples of stories just like the one I just shared with you about my very first sales call and how that went. Knowing that when you have the system, you had the right marketing and the messaging in place, it did the job. The sales call was just basically a solidification for the client that, yes, I'm in, here's my money, let's get started. Clarity. They understand exactly what they're getting, how it works, and what happens after they buy. So we want to be able to explain in our marketing, here's what's going to happen. Once you become a client and start working with me, here are the next steps. This is when we're going to get started. This is what it's going to look like. We're going to have one live Q&A or one live training call a week and maybe a live Q&A session a week, whatever that looks like for your particular service. What is that promise? How are you going to fulfill the service for your signature system that you are offering? How long is the container? What do you expect from them? Are they going to have assignments that they need to complete every week? When are they going to check in? How are they going to know that they're getting results? This is baked into your content. Trust. So they believe in you as a guide. Your story, your authority, and that your genuine care comes through. So all of your storytelling, the more they can learn about you and your experience and why you developed the solution, what your experience has been with it, what your clients' experience have been with it, all of this helps to build trust. And trust equals clients. So you want to make sure you have a clear process, that path to go from where they are to where they want to be. No guessing, no confusion, clarity converts. The big realization. So here's the shift. When you understand all 5 layers of this messaging, you stop guessing about what to say and you start reflecting about what they're already thinking. That's when the messaging becomes powerful. It becomes easy because you're no longer guessing. You are just reflecting back exactly what your client is already thinking and feeling. Open up a Google Doc and just go through that. And you, many times, are your ideal client, your previous version. That previous version of yourself, of where you were before you went through this transformation yourself, thinking, putting yourself back in those shoes. Where were you? What were you thinking? How are you feeling? Why did you decide that enough was enough? Why did you decide that? Why did you decide to join the Signature System Blueprint Challenge? Enough is enough. You're ready to get your expertise out of your head and develop your signature system. This shift, moving from trying to convince people, you know what that's like. You're trying to convince people, like maybe you're trying to get your kids to do something and you're trying to beg and borrow and plead with them to get them to do something, to speaking to people who already want what you have. That difference is everything. And the longer you work with people, the more you get to know about your ideal client, the more messaging moves from being vague to being clear, the easier this becomes. And the sales calls aren't even a requirement anymore because the selling is done through the content. All they need to do is click the button on the sales page and make the purchase right from there. Messaging framework. So now let's simplify the messaging. Your system, as I've mentioned, is the bridge from the problem where they are, point A, to point B. Your system is the bridge that bridges the gap from that problem to the result. And your job is to show both sides and to position your system in the middle. So, your job, every piece of content, every sales page, every email, it all lives on this bridge on one point to the other point. Problem on one side, result on the other, your system in the middle. Your system is what is bridging the gap. So thinking about where they are, where they're stuck, where they're overwhelmed, where there is no system. And by following the steps in the signature system blueprint that I've walked you through, if you follow the steps in the system and implement what I'm teaching you inside the signature system blueprint, you will go from having no idea, having all of your knowledge and expertise just living in your head, to having a well-defined signature system, and then having that operating engine that helps you to move your clients from not even knowing you to delivering in a program and helping them get results and becoming raving fans in your business by implementing that signature system. And that's what I teach you to do step by step in the signature course launch system, which is my signature program that helps you to be able to implement that everything that we've been talking about in this challenge. And the result is having that freedom, whether it's the mama that wants to lose the baby weight, to the entrepreneur that is stuck in trading their time for money and has that, there's no ceiling. They're up early, they're working late, they have no time freedom, they have limited income because everything is based on the hours that they work. And when they stop working, so the income stops coming in. So they want the freedom, they want the clarity. And all your system is the bridge that bridges that gap. Start by speaking where they are. You're overwhelmed, you're stuck. This is what creates connection. So my clients are overwhelmed and they're stuck working 60 hours a week with nothing to show for it. You're overwhelmed because you're doing everything yourself, wondering, when does it get easier? See all of these people on social media making millions and millions of dollars saying they only work 10 hours a week. When is that day coming, right? That's how you feel. That's what you think. That's what you're experiencing. And when your clients can read that, they feel seen, they feel validated. They're feeling like, yes, you get me. So this is why it works, because before anyone will listen to your solution, they need to know that you understand their problem. And naming that current state precisely builds that instant rapport, because it says, I've been where you are. I understand, and I have a way to get through it. Come follow me, because this is how I was able to solve that problem. So start every message by meeting them exactly where they are. That's how you stop the scroll. Paint the desired picture. So you want to paint the outcome. Imagine how you will feel when you wake up and your business is already working. Imagine waking up and having those sales notifications on your phone are dinging throughout the day when they're going on your phone, because you have these systems in place that have automatically attract, nurtured, and converted these clients. So it invites them to be able to visualize the outcome, making it feel real and making it feel reachable. What if you could earn without trading every hour of your day? What if it challenges that belief? Is that possible? I see people on social media say they only work 10 hours a week and they're making millions of dollars. But is that possible for me? So you want to challenge the limiting belief while opening the door to the new possibility, because this is how they feel hope. And hope is what drives action. Hope that they see that this is possible for them. If they had your signature system, if they were just able to know exactly what to do and how to do it and in what order, they know that on the other side of that is the solution, that they could then also be the person that is waking up to nonstop sales notifications, that has a business that runs without them, that they could feel comfortable in being able to take time off of their business without having to have everything fall apart because you're not there. That's what you want. Your system is the bridge. And this is where, now that you have shown them the problem, what their current state is, and you've shown them the possibility, what their desired state is, that's the moment where you introduce your system as the path that bridges the two. So whatever the name is of your signature system, helps you go from being stuck. So talking about that stuck point where you're trading time for dollars and you're tired of, you're working all hours, you're getting up early and you're working late. That's how we would talk about that, right? To the desired outcome where you're waking up to nonstop sales notifications and being able to not have to worry about this feast or famine anymore in the time process. So what does that look like for you and your signature system? Is it a 4-week container? Is it a 6-week container? Is it a 12-week container? And that container timeframe comes from how long it takes them to be able to implement each particular step of your journey. So if it's a 12-week signature system, there are 12 steps, maybe each step takes a week. So it would become a 12-week program. That's how that works. So this is where your signature system that you built in day one clicks into place, because you're not pitching the product. You're pitching what you're sharing, what you're offering is a clear, structured pathway. They don't just hear your offer, they see the way through. They see the way to being able to get to the finish line of their desired transformation. So pulling it all together here, your messaging becomes one sentence that basically does all of the heavy lifting across every platform, every conversation, whether you're in person, you're across a computer screen, it's in your content, your emails, your social media content, and so forth. Your signature system then becomes very clear of who you help to be able to go from what that problem is to the result with your signature system. That is your North Star. Every piece of content, every sales conversation that you have, every bio, Instagram bio or on Facebook, on LinkedIn, it all flows from this single sentence. Master it, and everything else gets easier because it becomes very clear to you. You would be able to recognize these people in a crowd, that these are the people that you are here to help solve this particular problem, because this group of people have that problem. For instance, like the dog food example I gave you, I'm in that group of people who have a pet, one of the family members, a dog, that have the problem of having allergies, right? And all of the expensive vet bills and all of the medications that we've tried to solve that problem, and nothing has worked. So having that result, so the result here and what I was looking to purchase was that particular dog food. It was available to be able to solve the allergy problem, to go through the system. The result I want is the dog free of allergies, right? And the system product solution was the dog food. So knowing your North Star for me is I help online course creators, coaches, and service providers go from trading your time for money, from being overwhelmed and burned out in your business, not having any systems in place, and being the bottleneck in your business, because when you walk away from your business, everything stops, everything falls apart, and you know it's in your head, and you know you just need to be able to get it out, and you're ready to have a business that runs without you. You're ready to be able to take off time and not have to worry about your income dipping. You're ready to be able to delegate to a team that does this for you, and you can work those 10 hours a week because you know you have a well-oiled machine that takes care of your clients and takes care of your business while you're away. And this is through your signature system. And this is through my signature course launch system. So that is my North Star. So think about that for you and how once you have this clarity, everything changes in your business because it comes through in all of your messaging. You know who you're talking to, what you're talking about, and how you're going to help them. Some more examples here, looking at how specific they are for a course creator. For example, I help overwhelmed coaches go from scattered content to a signature online course in 60 days through my course launch blueprint. So before they're scattered, that's their pain point. They've been posted on social media. It's not a lack of being consistent because they're consistently posting and trying all these different tactics and nothing is working. And they think it's them. They think the tactic doesn't work. And it's not that. That's not the problem. And the problem is that they don't have clarity on who their ideal client is and they don't have clear, consistent messaging. So helping them to be able to get that through that product, that signature system in this example is the course launch blueprint. For a business strategist, it would look like I help freelancers go from trading time for money to running a scalable service business through my client leverage system. You can use system, you can use blueprint, you can use framework, launchpad. There's all different kinds of words, but you want to productize it because it is your proprietary information. A marketing coach could be I help service businesses go from being invisible online to fully booked out through my 90-day visibility framework. That's what they want. They want to be fully booked out. They want to be running a scalable business. They want to go from having scattered content to having a signature online course in 60 days. So going the before state, who it is, the before state, the after state through the system. See how that works? The next thing we want to look at is why you. Why should they trust you? So once you have your message, the next question your ideal client asks is, why should I trust you to take me there? This isn't ego, it's strategy. Positioning is how you stand apart in a crowded market. It's the reason somebody picks you over every other coach, course creator, consultant promising the similar result. So your positioning is that answer to what makes you the right guide for the specific journey that they're going to go through. So let's look at some ways on how to differentiate this, how you can stand out through your system. So having the name, a branded name of your signature system creates that instant credibility and memorability. So having a named system, if I think about in the health arena, thinking about weight loss systems, you have Weight Watchers, you have the P90X. Apple has its own name for their products and services. So you want to give your system a name. You want to refer to it. It is the North Star. It is the solution. Thinking about P90X for those back in the day when you were looking at a home exercise program, that was the household name for quite a while of the solution that you could have all of these videos and you could do this exercise right in your home and get rock hard abs and a tight butt and look good in your skinny jeans. You want to have a method. So your method is your unique approach or sequence or philosophy on how no one else teaches quite like you. So you have a unique way. There's tons of different systems out there and they all work, but you have a unique way of how you do things that works for you, and people that are like you or want that same result, they want to be able to implement and adopt your method into their life. Your angle. So the specific lens or perspective you bring, the belief or the point of view that shapes everything that you teach, right? I have a belief that you shouldn't have to burn yourself out. I was in corporate for 23 years and my body literally burned out because I was working all the time and not prioritizing myself. So I believe in having a balance. I believe in building a business and helping you to build a business around your life and not the other way around. I'm not going to say there aren't seasons where you're going to be working more in your business than you prefer to, but they should be seasons. They should be short sprints of time where maybe you're hosting a challenge or something like that, that you're working more, but that should not be the everyday norm. And that's what you want to speak to, those beliefs in your marketing messaging. Results, the specific documented outcomes your clients achieve, the proof that your path works. So you want to keep baking this into your messaging and your marketing as you are working with clients, as you're starting to get those reviews, as you're getting the results. You want to be able to share these results, share these case studies and these stories of how when Sarah started working with you, this is where she was when she came to working with you. And then after being in your system and implementing the steps that you teach inside that program, this is where she's at now. And this is what's changed for her. That's what helps people to see them. And they're like, oh man, if that was possible for Sarah, then I can do it too. She's got a lot of the same situations and same problems that I deal with. If she could do it, I could do it too. And your story. So your journey that brought you here, your lived experience creates connection that no one else can copy. And if you've been listening to me, I've been sharing tidbits of my story as we've been going through these 3 days together in this 5-day challenge of being in corporate, of being burned out. I was in corporate for 23 years. I was a high level in my position over a region, the Southwest region of Florida. I was traveling all the time. I was constantly working, bringing work home, sacrificing my health for my work, and not getting to enjoy the time with my family that I really wanted to enjoy because I was just always working. And eventually my body gave out and I ended up on disability for a period of time. And it was that defining moment that I'm like, I can't go do that for another 30 years. The body has already shut down and said, no, there's got to be something else. And I always had a dream and a vision of being able to help people in a meaningful way and make that impact and be that work from home, work from my laptop lifestyle, work anywhere. And that's when I started doing the research back in 2018 of how I could start making money from home, how I could be that stay at home mom and homeschool her daughter and not be stuck in traffic for a couple hours a day, just driving to and from work. So that's where you can start to share your story and how that influenced and what that defining moment was for you that you said enough was enough and how you decided that you were going to do something about it. And you started to do the research and come up with your own system to change your life and as it relates to your signature system. Weak messaging is vague. Strong messaging is specific. So that is a difference. This difference between messaging, a lot of times it gets ignored in the messaging that converts comes down to one thing, specificity. So you can have, when you talk about learn how to create messaging that converts versus not converting, the weak messaging is saying, I help people grow. That nobody can identify in that because grow with what versus the strong message would be I help burnt out freelancers package their expertise into a scalable course in 90 days through my leverage launch system. You see the difference versus just saying I help people grow or I help entrepreneurs build their business. I help clients reach their potential. What is potential? Is that measurable? Potential could be 100 different things. Everybody's got a different definition of potential. So you do not want to have this weak messaging. You don't want it to be vague and generic and forgettable. If you're a burnt out freelancer, you can clearly identify with, yep, that's me. And what is the solution? Package your expertise into a scalable course. That is the goal. Yeah, they'd love to have a scalable course, a course that can run on autopilot, that can continue to scale over time without requiring more work from them in 90 days or less. So it's specific, it's clear, it's outcome based. So this person knows exactly who it's for and they know exactly what the outcome is that your signature solution is going to provide for them. Your message shows up everywhere. So when we are marketing, organic marketing, paid marketing, all of the types of marketing that you can do in your business, it isn't just a one-time thing. It's a foundation of your entire content ecosystem. Some examples of places that it's going to show up is in your bio. Take a look. And if you want some feedback here as well, you can post it, take a screenshot and post it over into the Founders Lab and let your peers and myself give you some feedback on your marketing messaging. But you're going to see it on your Instagram bio, your LinkedIn, your website. It's the first thing that a stranger reads, and it should automatically and immediately answer, is this for me? Your content. So this comes through in your posts, your videos, your podcasts. Every piece speaks to one specific person with one specific struggle. Your sales page. So the full story, the problem, and what we cover in the sales page, and we teach this in the signature course launch system, in detail and how to help you write your sales page, but it goes through the problem, it goes through the promise, the proof, the process, and it's all built on your signature messaging framework. It comes through in your emails and your lead magnet. So we talked about on day 2 of having a lead magnet in place to be able to attract people into your ecosystem, and then they get into your nurture sequence. So through your nurture sequence and your free resources, it attracts the people that are exactly right for the solution that you have, and it repels the people that don't need the solution or are not even a market for your solution. So looking at some more examples of this particular framework, the same offer, completely different impact. So the bio would look like for a business helping entrepreneurs succeed online. Again, there's a million things you could have in a business that you could help an entrepreneur with, to having the after message. So I help the 9 to 5 escapees build their first course and land their first 10 paying students in 60 days. So I can clearly say, yep, that's me. I was in the 9 to 5. I'm ready to escape, but I'm going to build a course and land my first 10 paying students in 60 days. So I know in 60 days, if I follow your signature system, that I will have a course built and I will have my first paying students if I do what your course says to do. So here are some examples or some tips to grow your business. Bland. If you're still doing everything manually in your business, here's why it's costing you more than money. So can you see how, if you're scrolling social media and you're that person, can you see some tips? Yeah, keep going. But if you really speak to the heart of the matter, you're still doing everything manually in your business, and here's why it's costing you more than money. You've piqued my attention. You've stopped the scroll. Your lead magnet goes from a free guide to business success to this 3-step system map, how to turn your expertise into an online course in one afternoon. Result. Common messaging mistakes to avoid. You want to avoid being too vague, where no one knows who it's for or what they get. You want to avoid being too complicated. What I was talking about in my early banking days, when we had this jargon that left people confused. They didn't even know what we're talking about. You don't want to have too much jargon. You want to be clear and precise in your messaging. You want to be to the point. Don't be feature focused, talking about the modules and the hours. I can remember we used to do this on our sales pages back in the day, where we'd say there's over 40 hours of content inside my online course or coaching program, thinking you're giving them so much value. There's 40 hours of content is so worth the money. That 40 hours of content. And I'll never forget, my copy coach at the time was like, you're talking to burnt out professionals. They're already burnt out and don't have enough time to even prioritize themselves or their business. And now you're telling them they need to figure out where they can find 40 hours to go through your course. No, you don't want to talk about that. No, you want to talk about the outcome. Your story matters, but your client's transformation matters more. So when you're telling your stories, you want to be able to not tell them from where you're trying to get sympathy. You're telling them because you want to be able to paint the picture of how you were there too, and you get them. No CTA, no call to action. You want to make sure everything that you post has a call to action. A great message with no next step, the reader moves on and forgets about you because they don't even, yeah, that was nice. They don't know there is a next step. So you always want to be guiding them through your content to that next step. It's your turn. I want you to open up your workbook that I've provided you. You can find the workbook in the portal. And if you are watching this on YouTube and you haven't joined us in the Signature System Blueprint Challenge yet, then the link will be around this video. And this is where you will be able to get the resources that accompany this training. Theory is over. It's time to open up your workbook and do the work. So open up, go to day 3. And grab your workbook, and we're going to walk through these 5 steps that give you a complete ready-to-use message foundation by the end of the session. So this is your goal. Consume today's training and then get your workbook out and take the action steps in it so you can start using your signature messaging everywhere you go, starting now, like immediately go and start updating this stuff. So what you're going to be doing through your workbook is identifying these 5 layers that we talked about earlier in the training. Don't skip any of them. You want to make sure that you have a clear comprehension of every layer here about your ideal client. So you're going to define your ideal client in step 1, who they are, who that person is that is the perfect person for the solution that you have. You're going to map out the problem and the result. So where are they at before working with you? and where are they at after working with you, and what did they actually want emotionally and practically. Step 3 is you're going to write down what is getting in their way. What have they already tried? For instance, of the mama with the diet, maybe they did try P90X, thinking that they could just exercise, but then they got it and it was way too hard. They're not even hardly having the energy to walk across the room, much less implement P90X. So those are things that they can say that they've tried, or maybe they did try Weight Watchers or something like that and found it too restrictive and found that they didn't have enough time to do all the meal planning and the tracking of the points and so forth. So know what that is for your system. Motivations, why is it important for them to change and why is it important right now? Look at the decision triggers. What would finally push them to say yes to the solution like yours? Then you're going to map their problem and result. So zoom in on these two banks to be able to bridge that gap. Get crystal clear on both sides before you try to build that messaging that connects them. So thinking about the 3 to 5 sentences describing your client's current pain using their language, not yours. The problem, you want to write that 3 to 5 sentence that describes the transformation. So what does life look like after working with you? Paint that emotional outcome, not just the tactical one. Make it vivid and specific so you can actually have time to put more time and energy in having that time with your husband and going out on date night. Connect it back to their deepest motivation here. Step 3 is where you're going to write your signature method. So we've talked about this quite a bit in this training of who you help go from what problem to what result through your signature system. You want to create a couple of variations with that. And this is where I want you to post this in the Founders Lab and get feedback, because there's no better mirror than your peers of being able to read this and mirror back to you, whether it is clear and it's concise and they can understand exactly who it's for, what the problem is, the result is that your system provides, and the name of your system. So write it out, write the formula out. Don't overthink it. Just fill in the blanks and go back and look at some of the examples if you need to do that. Rewind this training to go back to the examples that we've taught to you. Now it's time to make it more specific at that time frame. This is where, when we're talking about the length of your program, if it's 4 steps, like AKA 4 modules, or maybe it's 6, or maybe it's 12. And then we talked about not going too much longer than that, because when the program gets too long, and if you're telling me it's going to take 6 months or a year to do that, like, people, we want results yesterday, let's be honest. And you tell me it's going to take me 6 months or a year of doing this, I don't have a year. So you want to, in that case, if it is longer and there is another step to be able to create a solution around that, could be another course or the next service provided, so you can break it up. So say it out loud to yourself, edit it until it sounds like something you'd actually say to a real person, and then post it in the Founders Lab to get some feedback. Defining your audience. What is the name of your signature system? Is it a method? What's unique about your approach? What's your angle? What are your core beliefs about your solution? Why, for instance, you feel you're done with the days of having strict diets and working yourself out. I believe you don't have to burn yourself out to be able to build a wildly successful and scalable business, that you can really use AI-powered tools, systems, and automations to be able to do the heavy lifting for you. And having this revenue operating system set up in your business helps to be able to do all that. I've lived it. I've helped clients to be able to install this in their business and have helped them to be able to get the same and better results. So this is what you want to be able to talk to. You want to be able to share your story. What is your experience? What makes you credible here? And combine your top 2 or 3 into one clear positioning sentence that sits alongside of your signature messaging. Create your call to action. Every piece of messaging needs the next step. Without a clear call to action, even the best messaging ends in silence because they don't know what to do. You have to tell them what to do. Click here, register now. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to book a call? Do you want them to download a guide, join a challenge, DM you? Be specific here. Don't make it fluffy. Be specific. Make it easy to be able to consume. Click the link in my bio or comment a keyword, comment ready below, and I will send you the link to be able to get the download. Remove all of the friction. Make it easy. Don't make them jump through hoops. Even click the link in bio. We used to use this a lot for Instagram. But again, you're asking them to then navigate away from the post and go and look at your bio and then get distracted and then they're gone, right? So you want to just have them right there, comment ready below. And then we have systems and automation that we set up. And you have these automations set up that automatically respond to anybody that's commented that keyword and sends them the link to be able to download the freebie and get into your email sequence to be able to nurture all the way through conversion with your ideal client. Tie your CTA to their desired result. So take the first step towards result action here. So join the challenge here. You want, grab your resource here, save your seat. It's tied to an action. So recapping day 3, I want you to look at what you have built over the 3 days together. Day 1, you defined your signature system. You've got it defined, you've named it, and you've structured it into transformational framework. In day 2, you worked through the architecture and the business engine of your business. So this business model is all mapped out. You've mapped out your offers, your pricing, your delivery, all connected with purpose. Every step is built upon the next, taking someone from before they knew about you all the way through delivery of your program and becoming your best testimonial. The napkin test is it is simple enough to be able to just draw it out on a napkin. If you're sitting with me at lunch, you're like, Shannon, here's what I do. It works like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 steps take you from point A to point B. And you have now gotten clear on your messaging. Your ideal client is profiled. You know exactly who they are. You know what problems they have, solutions that they desire. You know what drives them emotionally, what the triggers are that's keeping them and helping them to make that decision. You want to help your clients to be able to make that purchasing decision to be able to work with you in your program. So give yourself, if you've gone through this, if you've taken the action steps and you've done the work, give yourself a pat on the back, because this is incredible work. And most people get to this point and they still have only consumed. You're not available for that. You're not just a consumer. Action equals results. And results, taking this action, is where you get the clarity, is where you get the confidence, and it's where you get the money. You are now ahead of most people because you are clear. Most entrepreneurs spend years guessing at their messaging, copying competitors, wondering why nothing sticks, wondering why nothing converts. In these 3 days, already you've done the foundational work that they skip because they're consuming and they're not taking action. Clarity isn't a nice to have, it's the engine of everything: your confidence, your content, your conversations. Now you have it. Tomorrow, we're going to be diving into automation. We're going to automate everything. And this is where scale happens. You've built the system, you've mapped the business, you've nailed the messaging, and now it's time to answer the question that every entrepreneur eventually asks: how do I make my business run without me? How do I wake up to nonstop sales notifications? It all comes through automation, having the right tools, triggers, and systems that keep your business working even when you're not. Even when you're out on the beach sipping margaritas, your business is working for you. It is how you build the freedom to having this freedom infrastructure, having the email sequences. So when that person comments that keyword on your social media post, that email sequence automatically fires and it nurtures, then builds that trust on autopilot. The workflows, the systems that deliver your offer, deliver your online course on autopilot without manual effort. The manual effort happens once in the beginning when you set it all up, but then it just happens on autopilot. It automatically, the scheduling, all of the booking, the onboarding, the delivery, all of it is hands-free. Once you set it up once, it is done, and it happens over and over. So every single person that says yes to working with you in one way or the other, if they're saying yes to your lead magnet or they're saying yes to working with you in your paid containers, it's all done on autopilot. So your action step today is, again, don't let this stay in your workbook. Don't let this stay in your head. The fastest way to refine your messaging is to put it in front of real people and get real feedback. So write it down, post it inside the Founders Lab, and refine it. Drop your message in our group today. Let the community give you feedback. So make sure that you are using the client's language and that it is clear and concise. So clarity creates sales. You're building something real. You've done the work. You've built this foundation, and now it's time to share it in the world and watch what happens when the right words reach the right people. So, thank you so much for joining me in day 3 of the 5-day Signature System Blueprint Challenge. I'm so incredibly proud of you. You're doing the work. This is the work that is required up front to changing your life. You're building something real. You're building a legacy here. So, thank you so much for being part of this challenge. I really appreciate you taking the time and investing in yourself and holding that commitment to yourself to getting this work done. So, here is a summary at a glance of everything that you covered today. Today, you have built your ideal client. You have clarity on who that person is that has the problem that your signature solution solves. You've gotten clarity. You've gotten your messaging framework. Okay. You have gotten clear on the problem. You've gotten clear on the ideal client and the 5 layers of the ideal client profiling. So it's not just about demographics, it's about the 5 layers that we talked about. We've gotten clear on the bridge that your signature solution, your signature system is the bridge. It is the system that moves them from the problem to the result. We've gotten clear on your formula. So this is your signature messaging drafted on who you help, what problem you help them with to get to the desired outcome they have through your signature system. And even putting a time frame on that works even better. You've also gotten clear on your call to action. So always having that call to action. So you've got that one clear next step defined. So up next tomorrow, we again are going through automation. So we're going to be diving into taking a look at how to make your business run without you. Everything happens on autopilot, and it is such a beautiful thing. And I'm so excited to talk to you more about that tomorrow. So thank you again for joining us in day 3 of the Signature System Blueprint Challenge, and we will see you in